I almost overlooked it completely. But then I saw it and couldn't look away. How someone treats a dog says more about them than any superficial dating conversation. More than his words, more than his job, more than everything he proudly tells you. I didn't believe this for a long time, until I really started looking much closer. Today we are talking about what a dog actually reveals about our own romantic relationship. It is not about dogs. It is about couples and the true way we love. The dog is the real test, not the vacation, the apartment or the in-laws. The dog makes all those little things visible that otherwise remain very well hidden. I will tell you right now which moment is the most honest test. You'll recognize it. Maybe you have experienced it yourself. Maybe you passed it, maybe you didn't. In the end you know exactly. The dog never lies. That is his most valuable trait. Let's start exactly where most couples in reality never really look closely enough. Just imagine. A woman, a man and a shared apartment for 3 full months. Everything works wonderfully. The tasks are divided, the evenings are harmonious and weekends are beautiful. Then comes this morning. The dog knocked something over and the whole kitchen is chaotic. She looks at him only briefly, but with a very clear and cold sharpness. The dog cowers. He immediately senses exactly what kind of tension is in the air. The man observes this. He sees this cold look and the quick reaction of the dog. In this moment he realizes a truth that no conversation would have ever revealed so openly. That might sound harsh at first glance, but it is simply the absolute truth. How we react when frustrated clearly shows who we truly are at our core. Not who we want to be or who we are in a restaurant when everything goes smoothly. It shows who we are when things go wrong and nobody is watching, except the dog. The dog is always watching closely. He doesn't judge our behavior, but he reacts. His honest reaction shows us a mirror we very rarely want to look into voluntarily. But there is definitely another side that has personally surprised me a whole lot. Many couples who share a dog in their household negotiate almost every single day. Who takes him out tonight? Who reliably cares when the other person suddenly gets sick? Who stays home during a business trip? Who gives in when opinions strongly differ? That initially sounds like pure logistics, but in reality it is much more than that. It is rather a daily practice of compromises, honest responsibility and deep mutual respect. Everything happens without big drama, without expensive therapy sessions and without any rigid formal framework. Just like that. Today is your turn and tomorrow is mine. We can do this together. Couples who have practiced this through their dog for years can apply it to other areas. They are better at negotiating and easily take responsibility even before they are asked. That is no coincidence. It is a real training that happens completely unnoticed every single day. Right here is the exact moment that suddenly shows everything in a completely different light. Think about your first vacation, when you have to leave your dog in someone else's care. Who truly cares? Who calls anxiously to check in? Who is seriously worried? And who instead says, "Oh, it will be fine," and simply turns around to leave? This small, seemingly unspectacular moment clearly shows who in your relationship genuinely cares unconditionally. Not just in theory, but in the harsh practice with a completely thankless task. A task that is either done unconditionally, or completely ignored by the other person. And then there is something in reality that almost all people completely overlook entirely. It is about how a couple deals together with the sad death of their own dog. That might sound morbid, but it is the absolutely most honest topic in a real relationship. When the dog dies, which always happens way too early, something inevitably breaks inside us. Exactly then it inevitably shows. Can this person truly endure my deep grief silently? Not wanting to wipe it away. Not explaining it away. And absolutely not using cold logic. But simply just being there in my pain, without ever wanting to fix it? Couples who endure this pain together know something afterwards that many others will never know. They know for sure, this partner can endure and carry my darkest and heaviest moments. That is absolutely no small thing. That is rather the unshakable foundation for a lifelong marriage. Not the expensive wedding, not the very first kiss, and not the huge romantic gestures. This quiet evening on the sofa after the tragic death of the dog, completely without words. You cried quietly and are still firmly connected. Love needs no big words in such moments. You might seriously ask yourself, what if my partner doesn't like dogs at all? That is actually an answer too. And a highly clear and unmistakable answer at that. Not because people without dogs are bad partners. That would be completely unfair and wrong. But because it is always a question of fundamental values and real, deep empathy. The willingness to be there unconditionally for a living being is the most important in a relationship. Do you still remember exactly what I said at the very beginning of this video? How someone treats a dog says clearly more than any honest conversation ever could. After all these examples, you now know exactly why this is the pure and simple truth. In dealing with the dog, everything becomes visible: patience, compassion, absolute reliability, and honest care. And all of this shows best in small, everyday, and often very unspectacular moments. Not when he is under intense pressure and has to prove something. But when nobody watches. But you should never forget one thing. The dog is watching closely. And truly always. If you know someone who is starting a new relationship and has their own dog, send this person this video. Completely without comment and entirely without any further explanation. Send it as a silent invitation to look much closer and observe carefully in everyday relationship life. A dog is no mere accessory. He is the absolute most honest relationship test that exists. Whoever passes this test, maybe not perfectly, but honestly and with the will to grow, that person has understood the most important thing that true love really needs to survive. Daily, quiet, and often unglamorous care. Completely without applause and free of any expectations. True love shows exactly here. A dog has taught it. Every single day, completely unnoticed. There are so many people desperately looking for the perfect partner on dating apps today. They analyze profiles, read hundreds of messages, and trust complex algorithms for great love. Yet they forget that nature has long given us a perfect compass for deep empathy. A dog sees through masks in seconds. He is not blinded by a simple smile. He notices vibrations, the harshness in the voice, and every impatience in the hands. If your dog relaxes around the new partner, it's a clear sign of deep trust. It means that the energy in the room is safe, warm, and absolutely non-violent for him. Never underestimate the intuition of an animal that has successfully survived by our side for millennia. They read our body language so much better than we ever consciously could ourselves. True love does not show in candlelight, but in the morning at the muddy edge of a dark forest. Laughing when the dog plays in mud, instead of getting angry, shows real, deep affection. Life inevitably brings sickness, stress, and every now and then also serious financial worries. Whoever stays caring in everyday life is also an absolutely safe anchor in the big storm. Trust his honest intuition in all important questions of real and absolutely true love.